New Year's Eve is Tuesday, and that means plenty of parties are going to be taking place. Lots of options to celebrate. And if you do plan on partying, we do want to encourage you to do that responsibly. Joining us this morning with more on liabilities of hosting a New Year's Eve party is attorney Barton Morris. Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, so hosting parties it's fun. It's great to have your family and friends over and to celebrate and ring in the new year. But how are the liabilities different if you're having a house party versus a restaurant or a bar?
There are differences. Somebody that's licensed to actually sell alcohol, like a restaurant or a bar, they have a responsibility to ensure that they're not serving somebody that's visibly intoxicated. Whereas a social host, somebody is having a party at their home, doesn't necessarily have that obligation. They wouldn't be liable if the guest was to go out and get into an accident. That doesn't mean that they're supposed to be. They should be continuing to be safe and ensure the safety of their guests.
So you're saying a homeowner is not liable if somebody drinks too much in their home and then leaves?
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, a bar is different.
Okay. And I know now that marijuana is legal, homeowners may be providing it, or maybe even a guest is bringing it in cookies or, a beverage of their own that is infused.
This is probably the biggest difference in what has been going on in the past. Now, yes, people can give cannabis and products, cannabis itself, to other people and consume it within their home. I think what's most important is to ensure that the cannabis that's being given is properly labeled, because there's all these different products can have different amounts of THC in them, which could also make somebody ill if in fact they're taking too much, if they're not knowing what they're taking. There could be liability there. A homeowner, if they were to provide marijuana in a form that was way too strong, then that individual goes out and hurts somebody or hurts themselves, certainly it could be some liability situations.
Okay, and so that is if the homeowner is providing it. Well, a lot of times guests bring things. They'd like to contribute to the party. So what is your best advice on how the homeowner can sort of manage what it is that people are bringing to the party?
I think a homeowner should always take steps to ensure that their guests are safe, and making sure that somebody's not bringing in something that is unsafe for its other guests. Somebody may bring in some products and then distribute them to other guests, and now we have a situation where many people could be in a bad predicament. So I think a homeowner always has a responsibility to ensure that they have a good understanding of what's going on in their home.
Yeah, I know I've done stories before where there's been underage drinking or something like that, and the responsibility always comes back to, well, whose home was that? Who allowed that? So I would imagine there is an element of liability and responsibility if you are hosting a party to make sure that your guests are as safe as possible. Yeah,
and particularly with those that are under the age of 21. So a social host does have responsibility to ensure that nobody under the age of 21 is consuming alcohol and can be held liable for what may happen thereafter. So that's certainly something. I think that happens probably more often than people think. Like family members come over and they're not exactly sure how old they are. Perhaps they're 20 years old and not necessarily 21, but like traditionally sometimes families let them drink because that may be something that they're accustomed to. But there is liability should anybody under the age of 21 go out and get in trouble.
Okay, and with marijuana and pot products, just remember to make sure everything is labeled, and if your guests bring things, ask them specifically what's in them. Sounds like as long as you label it, you should be in the clear. We're going to put more information on our website at WXYZ.com. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.